welcome back, guys. As we are here with another Coach's Corner, we're here with Coach Liz Lewis, the head women's basketball coach, here with the Gillette Lady Pronghorns. And Coach, first off, before we jump into everything about what's going on today and other games, tell us a little bit how that match turned out against Northwest.
You know, Northwest, I thought they played really well. I thought they played really well here, and number 33 had a great game. She had 29 points against us. We didn't really have an answer defensively for her. She played really well, and Northwest is a really good school, and they're tough. And I'm glad we ended up coming out on top. It was a tough game.
It was a dogfight.
It was a dogfight, and we got challenged in a lot of areas that I think will help us continue to grow and continue to get better. And so it was a really good game. It was.
The game was one of those where it was just like it was there, and then it wasn't, and then it was there, then it wasn't, and then if I'm remembering right, OT and everything else just kind of went crazy with it. And so, what did you see from some of your star players that kind of showed up?
It's some of our players did a great job handling the pressure, and we had a 13, 14 point lead at some point, and then Northwest just battled back, and they battled right into it. But I like the composure that some of our freshmen had too. Our sophomores, I thought Dasani did a great job continuing to battle inside, and Rochelle showed a lot of maturity, scored when she needed to, and shared the ball when she needed to, and Arna did a great job just leading the team as far as keeping us composed and doing the right things. And I'm really proud of the group overall. Like I said, it was a battle. It was a battle. So I'm just glad we came out on top because it was a great learning experience too.
You talk about Rochelle. She finished off with 25 points in that game alone. And you talked about sharing the ball, doing assist leader. Man, she just kind of led everything, which, it just kind of makes sense. But her play style is kind of, amping up, Arna Bright. It's helping up Dasani as well, too, because we talked about, you guys probably have one of, the best front courts in women's basketball, when everyone's, playing the way they should and everything like that. What are you seeing from the backcourt of side things, from your secondary units?
We've got a great bench, and we talk about it all the time. And everyone contributes to the win or the loss, no matter what. And so, I think our bench did a great job coming off and doing their assignments, their defensive assignments. We got a lot of defensive players on the bench. Andrea Martin is doing a great job defensively for us. We give her the hardest defensive assignment all the time, and she comes through and does great and matches up and guards their best perimeter player, and she does a lot of good things for us there. And then Kinsey Plew is just a solid player. She does everything you ask. She's a coach's dream in that way, as far as you ask her to do anything and she just will run through a wall for you. And it's really good to have those kind of kids coming off the bench and bringing that spark and that six-man mentality.
Six-man mentality, it's something that every team has to have.
Yes.
Because you have to have that second leader, and that second leader is the one that kind of controls the game. You think, okay, well, the starters kind of control. Yeah, they control it to a point, but once that six-man shows up, it's just you have to really focus hard, because especially if the team has a big lead, we'll talk about 13 points, and all of a sudden it drops down. So you have to have that solid bench and that solid starting core, and it's just it works out well. And shooting percentage, one of the things that you guys are going to have to focus on today is there's a shooter on Laramie that shoots 51% from 3-point. And I saw that and I was just like, that is not, that can't be right.
Yeah.
No, it's right. She's sitting second in the nation for not region 9, but in the NJCAA.
Yeah.
So what's the key today to, one, make her put up shots, not ones that are going to be wide open, things like that? What's the key for that?
We played against a lot of great players in our conference, and our game plan for a lot of them, it changes a little bit, but ultimately, just catch. You can't give open catch and shoot threes. You just can't. Catch and shoot threes are such a big change in the game now. I know there's some players that put up a lot of 3-pointers, and I just think about back when I played, back in the day, if I would have shot that many threes, my coach would have been all over me. But the game's changed so much. Individuals are taking a lot of threes that if we would have shot that many threes as a team, we would have been in trouble. So I think the game's just changed as far as ability to shoot the ball. And so we got to get out. We got to make them put it on the floor a little bit more and tight closeouts. And so we got to do everything we can to not give her, for sure, not any open looks.
Not the next Caitlin Clark, right?
Exactly.
So would you say, I'm going to jump off topic for a second. Would you say the, 3-point game, do you think it really revolutionized the game of basketball? Or do you think it kind of was just Great. Now it's just another thing to defend.
Yeah, I think Steph Curry has a lot to do with that.
Mhm.
As far as changing the game, and it's if you can shoot it, you got to be on the floor. If you got a kid that can shoot it and shooting 51% from the three, like they just have to be out there because you're hard to guard. When you can
Yeah.
shoot the ball, you're hard to guard because then you have to respect that. And then if you continue to be able to score from all three levels, the mid range and being able to shoot layups and things like that, like you're tough to guard that way. And so
Yeah.
we shooting and stuff like that is something that we harp on the team to get in and get extra shots up and continue to work on that and grow your game because the game has changed and you got to be able to shoot.
Yeah, you have to be able to. And so, talking about shooting percentages, obviously, her 51%. But then you
Yeah.
look at the rest of the team: field goal percentage 38.5, 3-point percentage
Mhm.
31.5, free throw percentage though 72, which that's the one thing a lot of teams really have to really focus on and harp on, just because you're sitting there and you're just like, okay, there's no one guarding. You
Yeah.
have to make these shots. How do you think so far your free throw percentage for y'all's team? I mean, that was LCCC's, but how
Mhm.
do you think y'all's are going?
Ours
so
has
far?
gotten better, and that's something that at the beginning of the year we were shooting it better from the three than we were from the free throw line there for a couple of games, which
that was
is
crazy to
unreal. Yeah.
crazy to see.
It's unreal sometimes, but our free throw percentage has improved, and again, that's something that we talk about a lot is the ability to step up. Like you said, nobody's guarding you. Ability to
Mhm.
step up and focus enough to just knock down those shots because we're capable of it. A lot of it just has to do with focus and being able to relax when you get up there to the line. So it has improved over the season, but still not quite where we want it to be.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of the big main factors, especially because in that last game against Northwest, that
Yes.
was huge. You
Mhm.
really had to focus on, if we're getting these shots, we have to make them, or else this lead's just going to keep dwindling, or it's
Mhm.
going to get it to where this game is going to go, overtime, and it's going to keep pushing. And
Yes.
it's like,
Yep.
and one of those things was, and I didn't talk with it about with Coach Shandiri, was free throws for even for the guys. They didn't
Mhm.
shoot one free throw in the first half,
Oh, wow.
which was
Yeah. That
crazy
is
to
crazy.
me.
Yeah, that is
and
crazy.
and that,
Yeah.
another reason why their lead dwindled. So it's
Mhm.
just free throws are really huge.
Yes.
Defensively, how do you think you guys are playing so far? I mean, you guys are getting your steals, you guys are doing all your reboundings, and it's one of those big strengths.
Mhm.
But how do you think personally, as like a coach and everything you're seeing from your squad defensively?
Defense is something that's not quite as flashy, and so I think it's important to emphasize that as a
Mhm.
coaching staff and I tell my team all the time, if you can guard, you're going to get in the game. You got to be able to guard, and if you want to go to the next level, you got to be able to guard. You're going to go to the level that you can guard at. If you can guard a D1 kid, then you're probably going to get looked at. But if you can't guard a D1 kid, they're going to find somebody else
Right.
who can. And so being able to guard, I think, is incredibly important, and that's something that we work on defense. I mean, sometimes it doesn't look like it, but we work on we work on defense quite a bit in practice, and defensive rebounding too,
Yep.
and having the discipline that every time a shot goes up, to get a hit and then go get the rebound. So it's definitely a huge emphasis of ours, and to try to hold teams below their average is our goal.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are doing just that. I mean, being able to out rebound opponents, like five of their last 6 games, you
Mhm.
guys have been able to get extra scoring opportunities. You've been able to get those extra rebounds, second chance points, which come down huge, especially when you're playing a big squad. Today, you guys have a team that's 11
Yeah.
and 10. You guys have a team that really wants to continue on a win path. They have a nice. They haven't been able to get things going, especially on the road. They're 2-3 on the road. They're 2-3 in conference play. Obviously, they're wanting to come in here and disrupt y'all's time.
Mhm.
So what is the factor besides guarding Miss Kelly? Because that's a whole other
Yeah.
game. What's the goal to make sure you guys protect home court tonight?
LCCC's, they're tough. They are, and they're tough, and that's something that we've been talking about. The last 2 days is their ability to score, their ability to defend. Like they're just flat out tough, and
Mhm.
I think they're scary in a way. I think they're scary, and so we have to do everything we can today to come out and shut down their. And what's scary about them is they've got 4 or 5 kids that can score double figures,
Right.
and so that's what's tough is anyone can go off at any time, and you got to guard everybody. And so we're going to come out tonight and do everything we can to get it done defensively, keep them below their average, and then do what we can on the offensive end.
17-6 record, like I believe one of the best, records that Gillette women's basketball has had in a while, right?
Yeah, possibly. I honestly haven't looked too much into that, but yeah, I think the first 10 years before I got here, they did really well. And then my first year here, we finished 28-5, And then last year we finished 500 at 16-16 after the break of
Mhm.
coming back and everything like that. So I think we're on the right path and moving in the right direction.
Right path, keep moving.
Yeah, we just got to keep battling. And one thing that tell my girls every single day that the rent's due every day. We got to come out, we got to battle, and we got to do. You can't expect yesterday's success to continue with today. So
getting a chance to talking with the girls and obviously getting a lot of coming out to a practice or something or seeing all them. Has the team camaraderie still been the same, or has it gotten like, hey, maybe a little bit crazier, or how is the team camaraderie right now?
I think it's really good still. They're a goofy bunch. They really are. They're goofy. I swear every time I turn around, they're doing some sort of dance or TikTok or something like that. Like they're just always having fun with each other, which is great.
That's awesome.
And that's one thing that honestly, as a coach, is really nice is when you have that camaraderie. It's something you don't have to worry too much about. And this year, like the team really has come together. They really do care about each other and take care of each other. And so that's something that I think has really helped us with our success is the fact that they are all, they're very kind girls, and they get along and they treat each other well.
Speaking of treating each other well, you guys are going to have to treat each other well on your road stand that you guys have upcoming.
Yes, we do.
And it's a long road stand. It's not something short. It's like, oh, hey, 2 games. No, it's the last 4 games. So focusing on the home games now, obviously, but what is the dynamic to keep, 1, the momentum going, but 2, also to change the thought process, be like, okay, guys, we got to really focus and be like, this is not home, but it's home.
Yes. And I think it's tough to find a balance between the focus and the intensity and stuff, but also keeping it light to the point where pressure doesn't get to you. And we talk about pressure as a privilege. Like if you have pressure, that's a privilege just because you've done something. And so we're going to have pressure there going on the road the last 4 games for sure. We just got to stay focused, but also relaxed and just do what we continue to do.
From what I'm seeing for Region 9, obviously for the guys, they have to keep winning to be able to host here. And I was looking, I was just like, there looks like there's going to be a chance that if you guys keep on the winning path and things, that you guys could host as well too.
Yeah, so the women's, we do it a little bit different. So the South actually hosts this year.
Okay, so South is hosting.
Yep, so it'll be down there probably. I'm not even quite sure who's even top in the South right now, probably Western Nebraska.
So it switches for the girls.
Every other year. Yep, every year. So next year we'll have a chance to host, and then the men will have to play in the South. And so it just it alternates every year. So this year,
so it's the West for the guys this year.
Yep.
And then South next year.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's kind of how we do it this year. So, so we won't have a chance to host, but we'll have a chance to obviously
get a
go
higher
to
seed and things like that, and go to national tournament.
And we could host a playoff game. So the first round could be a little bit different. So we could host a playoff game too.
So is the playoff game basically like once you hit the national tournament, or is that focusing on like so? I'm trying to get this all straight out because I'm like, I'm used to like the NCAA tournament, and then you have the NIT, things like that.
Yep.
This is a completely different animal. So you have regionals. After regionals, if you advance to that, then it's playoff.
So the first round of the tournament.
The first round.
The first round of the conference tournament.
Of the conference tournament. Yep. There we go.
First round of the conference tournament. First and second get a bye.
Okay.
And then our bottom team is dropped.
Gotcha.
And then third will host 6th, and 4th will host 5th.
So conference tournament, trying to get the host, and then after the conference tournament, then it goes regionals, and then nationals. There we go. I was like, what in the world am I going wrong?
So then, if we host
okay.
that first round, great. But then the top 4 teams will go. The top 4 from the South will play the top 4 from the North.
Okay, awesome. I promise, guys. I know what I know sometimes what I'm talking
about. It's confusing. It is. It's confusing.
Well, because like you have some college, sides. I don't know more if it's in the JUCO level. They have like a specific spot where they always do the conference tournament, and then you move on. Especially like in the NCAA, there's some for NCAA Division II, Division III, all that stuff. So I didn't know if that was kind of like the same way. So that's kind of cool.
It's changed for me because back in 2019-20, it was different than now it is now because we dropped Sheridan, and so it's just we don't have as many teams this time, so it's different and it's hard for me to keep up with too.
It's just like this high school regional thing that they've got going. The East has to the 1 seed automatically makes it to state, and then it was literally just implemented this year that it's only 1 round of elimination for the East.
Really?
And then in the West, it's 2.
It's 2. Interesting. Yeah.
Just to make it to state.
Just to make it to state. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to remember high school stuff too on top of it.
Yeah, no. So it's all craziness.
Yeah.
But going back and getting into focusing on this game coming up, I mean, we talk defensively, offensively, things about like doing all this, and it's one of the questions I kind of asked Coach Neary as well too. After focusing on all these games, what is the kind of mindset that you want the girls to really put into their brain? I know we talked about trying to make sure focusing on a game at a time, focusing on, defensively, focused on make sure it's a home and away situation, but mindset, there's a lot of mental that plays into this game that some people really don't understand, because if you don't have the right mental head, how are you going to be able to play in a game? So how would you say that you would like their mental to be? Granted, yeah, hype and cheery, but what's something else that you want?
We talk about the mental part of the game all the time, but also the physical part. Fatigue is something. Fatigue mentally and fatigue physically is something you're battling all year long. And so we talk about also taking a break though too, and finding joy in other things. I know, like for me, I'm a huge fan of comedy, and so I love to laugh. I love to watch comedies. I love to listen to stand-up comedians. Like I just love comedy, and so for me to kind of get a mental break from it, that's what I like to do. And so we talk to the girls about finding something that gets them away from basketball a little bit, so that they can get a break, but then come back to it a little bit more mentally, ready to go. And so, especially we go into this bye week after tonight's game, we have a whole week off until our next game, and so about 10 days. So we'll kind of take a day or two off, but we'll also do some fun things as a team to kind of keep it light and enjoyable, because we got to make a push this last couple weeks.
So it's kind of basically like this game right now is nice that you guys get to play it, because you're going to have this long break. So you're going to have to, at least playing 10 games instead of 11, 12 days off because of what it would have been.
Yeah, it would have been a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So you still have that game that you can really focus on and be like, okay, hey, we have this film from what we did. We're playing a really good team. What can we do differently
100%.
and get the job done on this side? So just kind of the catch-22, I guess.
Yeah.
The man upstairs, I guess, is looking out for y'all.
It worked out just fine. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be tough though. Like I said, LCCC is a good squad, so it's gonna be tough.
Awesome. Well, Coach, appreciate you coming and talking with us again here with our Coach's Corner, and obviously we'll talk with you soon.
All right, sounds good. Yep.
So we got some more Coach's Corner stuff coming up for you guys. Again, we've got some new sports coming up as well too. And we'll be shooting those later on this week as well. So once again, thank you guys for joining us here on our Coach's Corner. From Coach Liz Lewis to Chase Horsley, the Horseman, thank you so much, and we will see you guys next time.